met 50 Cent this one time, and he gave me a handmade sweater. I was like, gee, you knit?
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Basketball lovers, this one's for you.
Next to him, it's the birthday boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey, oh, happy birthday, TK. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. You gotta drop a like for the birthday boy. Shout out to the stream teamers. Hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Big 4-1.
Dirk Nowitzki, baby!
Oh, it's your Dirk here.
Yeah, big Dirk here. Growing my hair out long. Gonna do a walkabout.
Let me tell you, this stretch that you've just entered, these are the worst ones.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
You know, 40, cool. But
very cool.
41, 42, 43, I guess 44 sounds sort of cool. But anyway.
9 years of boring birthdays, but 90 minutes of classic podcasting coming up right here.
That's right. If you're looking for any and all of our All-Star Weekend thoughts, go check out our Saturday and Sunday podcast. We're moving on from All-Star Weekend. I'm done.
I got some fixes.
I can't listen or read anything more about this. Today, though, we are once again going to rank all 30 NBA teams. Our guy, John Schumann, I don't know if he's in the live stream right now, he says that 66% of the regular season is complete. So the home stretch begins now. We do have one basketball game on tonight.
Really?
Yeah, Lakers Hornets.
I didn't know that.
Game. Yeah.
The Mark Williams Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exciting.
So that's where we're at. 2/3 of the regular season done. So just to remind everyone, when we do our rankings here, we use the tier maker, and we have it as such. 5 tiers, obviously at the top. The S tier, it's the title contenders. Look at Tass Mellis just looking at that LOB.
Yep. 1/3 of the way left.
That's right. So title contenders is our top tier. Then we have the final 4 flirts. And we got the playoff locks. Then we got the play-in hopefuls. And at the bottom, that's our flag seekers. You're in the pooper for Cooper, whatever you want to call it. It's the tankers that are leaning into the tank and playing, the ping pong balls when it comes to the lottery. We did this in the preseason.
Yeah.
And here is how we ranked all 30 teams. Again, back in October before we had played a single game. I'll say we did pretty good at the top. Feeling pretty good about our title contenders going Boston, OKC, and Denver. I know they've turned it on as of late. And then we had 6 teams in the final 4 flirts category. We had the Wolves, the Knicks, the Mavs, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Suns. So, some good, some bad. And, obviously a bunch of other teams that have either really surprised us positively or negatively. But anyway, that's what the 2024-25 preseason tiers were. I say we jump right into it, though. We got 30 teams to sort of talk about. Like you said, this could be a big boy.
Chunky.
So let's do the Eastern Conference. We usually do. Who's our first team?
Yeah, and try a fun challenge for everybody listening out there. Try to remember all 30 teams. You'll probably get 29, no problem.
Yeah.
They'll be like, wait, what is the last one? For me, it was the Clippers today. It's because they changed their logo. Threw me off.
For me, when I saw that graphic just before we went live, I'm like looking at my notes. I'm like, oh, crap, I forgot the Bulls.
Well, I think we know where they're going to end up.
Some teams are not going to take a long time to talk about.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go alphabetical East and then West because that's how it was already organized. So we'll start with the hometown Atlanta Hawks, currently 8th in the Eastern Conference, 26 and 29. They're 21st in offense, 15th in defense, 21st in net rating. All these numbers coming to you via Basketball Reference. The Atlanta Hawks, they feel like they're a play-in hopeful to me.
Have been for years.
It's hard not to be if you're a mediocre team in the Eastern Conference to not be a play-in hopeful. Atlanta's a mediocre team. That's what they are. They're fun to watch right now. Listen to these guys that they start around Trae Young now. With Dyson Daniels, Zachary Reese-Sachet, they're putting Mo Gay out there and Onyeka Okongwu. Listen to all that length. I think every game is going to be fun for this team.
Easy, Bobby Webster. Yeah. Masai Ujiri. You like all that length, do you?
You got to. Let's give a little respect to Landry Fields. He likes length, too, leading the Hawks front office. I think these first 2 games are actually kind of important for
Huge.
them.
Yeah.
Orlando, the first one here, that team that's just a half game ahead of them, and Detroit coming up, who's a little more ahead of them.
Yeah.
In that 6th spot. And at home, they're 12-12 these next 2 games here. They can
Sounds
be
about
14.
right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. But this team is crazy. That lineup that I just said was against the Knicks, where they went to overtime. They had 5 players score 20 or more. They got scores, they got length, and that's why it's kind of fun to watch. But the plan is where they're going to be. I mean, that's just where they're going to be. I don't think it's any question about that, really, especially with Jalen Johnson out. That's the other thing. They can't reach their peak right now.
Right. The Hawks are 3-1 since trading DeAndre Hunter and Bogey. So since the deadline, the one loss was in overtime to the Knicks. That crazy game.
That's a weird
that
one.
we I guess I drafted when we did that last week. So yeah, pretty good record. 10 of the Hawks' first 12 post break games are at home. So this is like they need to like pick up a lot of these, and you said those really important ones against those teams ahead of them. But yeah, I'll literally be shocked if they are not in the play-in. Like they're going to be there. I just don't know what number they'll be at from 7 to 10, but more likely than not, it'll be one of the 9 or 10 games.
Yeah, somehow they're going to run back Bulls versus Hawks for the 9-10 game. I think when I make this template for next year, I'm just going to put the Bulls and Hawks.
Just
here
put 'em
in the
right
play-in
there.
hopefuls and
Yeah.
part of the template.
Okay.
So they stay there. Up next, though, the Boston Celtics, currently 2nd in the Eastern Conference, 39-16. They're 4th in offense, 5th in defense, 3rd in net rating, and of course, they are the defending NBA champions. Had a bit of a swoon in January, but picked it up with some really nice wins here in February before the All-Star break.
Yep, they've won 7 of their last 8 and a couple victories against Cleveland and New York. So some of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. They're the only team currently that ranks top 5 on both ends of the floor. After a few other ones sort of slipped out. But it's weird, right? They're like 5.5 games still behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. But now that they've sort of got it going again here, it's like they're the team to beat. So when we showed you the preseason rankings, I'm just interested to see where they rank in the title contenders tier, because they're obviously going there. It's just like, are they still number 1? Because we sort of rank them within the tiers too. Are they behind OKC? Are you convinced that the Cavs are better? But they're obviously in that tier, that top tier.
Absolutely. My question would be, when they're in that Eastern Conference Finals, if they were to get there against Cleveland Cavaliers, is there any chance that the Cavs would be the favorite? I don't think so.
No.
Definitely not in
even
betting.
home court advantage. I don't think so.
But either way, we get to see them play each other again one more time this month. Later on, yeah, they look like the Celtics again after that swoon, no doubt.
Yeah.
But then they started shooting the 3 again, and they shot it pretty well.
And there's a new wrinkle they're doing.
this
I
month.
saw going around on Twitter. I forget the guy's name, so apologies. But a good breakdown of like Joey Maz leaning into playing a lot more 2 big lineups.
Joey Maz.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Joey
feeling
Maz.
Forget about it.
So a lot of bigs, like putting like a Porzingis and a Horford like out there together, like a lot more than they did at the earlier start of the season, and it's like had really good results recently. So something to watch.
Yeah.
A wrinkle they'll probably need, because obviously
Yeah.
the Cavs play 2 bigs, so it could come in handy there. How many games did the Celtics lost 1 game in the Eastern Conference playoffs last year? Is that right?
That's right.
Will they lose more than 1 game in the
Yes.
Eastern Conference playoffs this
Yes.
season?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Because they don't pay as much attention in the first round?
No, I think you think you're literally saying they're gonna sweep the Cavs. No respect for the
I
Cavs.
think the Cavs could take 1 off them.
I think it'll be a good series.
They could take a couple off them. I think they'll lose more than once in the Eastern
Yeah.
Conference playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you still have
I'll
them.
definitely have them ahead of the Cavs, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. But the Brooklyn Nets are our next candidate. They're 12th in the Eastern Conference right now. 20-34, same record as the Philadelphia 76ers. Brooklyn is 27th in offense, 19th in defense, 27th in net rating. I mean, they're probably flag seekers, but they're knocking on the door of play-in hopefuls here.
I wrote in my notes, this is to me, without a doubt, the most where the hell did you come from team in the league, when you're just looking at like, wow, they've won 6 of their last 7 and they're suddenly sniffing a play-in spot. And it's like sort of insane. And a big reason is their defense. Schumann had in his power rankings, the Nets were ranked 25th defensively through their first 43 games. And over the last little stretch here where they're winning a lot, they're their number 1 defense in the league by a wide margin.
So Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder, they were the problem.
I guess so.
The players the contenders wanted.
Yeah, over the last 4 weeks, the Nets defense is just elite.
Weird.
And that's why they've got a lot of W's, and they're within striking distance. Like, they're 12th place right now, but You know, there are the Bulls, there are the Sixers in 10th and 11th. Like, they could, in theory, catch one of those teams. They could easily catch both those teams.
They could.
Do they want to?
I think
That's the question. Yeah, that's the question.
Well, it seems like they want to. They play for Jordy. That's for sure. They play hard. They beat the Rockets twice this month. They beat the Heat this month. They play good teams, and they beat them. So I think we need a new category for this team. This is a playoff spoiler the rest of the way. I mean, I think teams should be scared when they play them.
In the sense you mean during the regular season, playing teams that are jockeying for position, and
yeah,
like,
the old spoiler.
Okay.
Oh,
the old spoiler.
Well, I didn't know if you meant they're gonna get in and like suddenly upset somebody. I was like, whoa! I know you like the Nets. Not that much.
No.
Okay.
No.
You don't want to see them on the schedule, is what you're saying. You got to bring it.
Not an easy win
in March.
No,
It ain't a
not at
Hornets
all.
game.
Yeah. No, they've
They've beaten the
me.
Rockets twice this month. Beaten the Heat. They've beaten the Sixers, who aren't good.
Nor are the Heat.
Yeah,
Both
they're
of those
average.
teams are under 500, but so are the Nets. They're surprising.
Where are we putting them though? So you said, I mean, are they a flag seeker or are they a play-in? Potential.
They're right on the cusp. They're either at the top of the flag seekers, at least in the Eastern Conference, or at the bottom of the play-in hopefuls. My guess is that we should put them in the flag seekers because they'll probably pull some levers here in the last 1/3 of the season because they made trades so that they could be bad.
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to be this good this year.
Yeah. Okay. For now, I'm fine putting them. Obviously, they'll be their only team there right now at the front of the flag seekers in the bottom tier. But we're gonna get to the Bulls. We're gonna get to the Sixers. Like, I don't know. I sort of have more faith in the Nets. Again, maybe getting into a play-in spot than those teams.
Yeah, it's possible.
But all right, put them there.
Well, they're going to be getting some company there in the basement of the Eastern Conference. Our next candidate for tier ranking, the Charlotte Hornets, they're 14th in the East, 13 and 39, 28th on offense, 13th on defense. I don't think I would have guessed that.
No.
If you gave me 29 guesses. And then 24th in net rating. The Charlotte Hornets, they're flag seekers.
Yes, with a bullet.
Yes.
Unfortunately, weird stat from Schumann. They have more wins and a better record against the 16 teams currently above 500. The record is 7 and 18, mind you. Than they do against the other 13 teams currently below 500. They're 6 and 21 against the bad teams in the league.
That 100% makes sense to me. The bad teams in the league see the Hornets on the schedule and think, we can get a win tonight. The good teams see the Hornets on the schedule and say, we are gonna win tonight. We don't even need to try.
Right.
But guess what? They're in the NBA too.
Yeah.
You got to try a little bit.
Yeah.
That 100% makes sense when you listen out like that.
Yeah, I guess maybe Charles Lee gets them excited. I mean, they probably get excited in there for the good teams too, a little bit more than the bad teams. I just put way too much faith in Charles Lee and this top of their roster at the beginning of the season. I thought, they're going to do some things. LaMelo's ankles are going to be entirely different, but they're the same. He's injured all the time, so it's difficult to even think about a play-in spot for this team because you never know when LaMelo's going to play.
Yeah,
LaMelo out for a lot of time. Brandon Miller out for a lot of time. I guess coming into the season, you would probably say Mark Williams is their third biggest name players outside of the man that we never talk about. And Mark Williams, that guy's obviously been out of the lineup as well. They tried to trade him. He comes back. They said, no, we're still trying to trade you, but he's still around.
And he's playing tonight against the Lakers.
Revenge game.
Baby.
Connect versus him.
They should just let them play one-on-one.
Hell yeah. Get out of the
See
way.
them matched up a little bit.
Sit down, Luka.
The Hornets, they could use a good draft pick here. Yeah. They picked maybe the worst first-round guy. Well, I don't know. There's some bad guys in the top 10. But Tijan Salon. Have you seen a minute of him?
Wow.
Brutal.
Oh,
Is he worse than Cody Williams? I don't know. Let me know. Those guys are both bad. All right, here we go. This team's in the play-in. It's the Chicago Bulls. They're 22 and 23. What? 20th on offense, 26th on defense, 23rd in net rating. Their best player for the last third of the season is Nikola Vucevic.
Bulls fever, baby. Catch it.
22 and 23. You have hope for them to be a 500 team.
That can't be.
No, it's 22 and 33.
22 and 33. Yeah. I was like, that can't be right.
He just chopped off 10 losses.
Well, yeah, because we all hope that.
Even in my dream, they're still under 500.
It's depressing.
That's crazy, bro. 23, 2, and 33. Yeah.
I looked into it to see if they're the worst team ever to make the play-in tournament because right now they're on the pace to be the worst. But the 2022 Spurs were 34 and 48 and made it.
Whoa.
That stinks. That was a Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, Joshua Primo starting team. Lonnie Walker came off the bench, who's back. Baby.
Hey.
He's back, baby.
He's back for the Philadelphia 76ers. Had that NBA buyout with his Lithuanian team, and he's back, squeezing it in. Sixers will try until the end. They'll sign anybody. Anybody. Come on, bye.
Where do you have the Bulls? Are they playing hopeful or not even that?
They're playing hopefuls. They hope they're in the play-in every single year. Is it smart? No. Are they going to hit the lottery because it's rigged? Hopefully.
You can't take them out.
That's the only... There's 2 games left on the Bulls calendar as far as I'm concerned. The 9-10 playoff game and the draft lottery. That's it. Those are the only 2 games they are left to play this season. I hope they go 1-1.
That's fair. You can't take them out because the Sixers, Nets, and Raptors are behind them. So unless you somehow have faith in the basketball body gods to say, oh, Joel Embiid's going to be healthy. Right. Yeah, sure. He's going to be back to that guy who won an MVP. I mean, how can you pick the Sixers or the Nets or the Raptors to steal that spot from the Bulls?
Well,
the Raptors could. We'll get to the Raptors later.
If you're giving me the field over the Bulls, I would like taking the field that you gave me of those 3 teams, that one of them can put it together enough down the home stretch to maybe pass the Bulls. But it will be so Chicago Bulls like that, where they finally do trade some guys at the deadline. They maybe pick a direction, so to speak, of like, let's be bad. They'll probably put together a nice, like, slick little 4-game win streak here. And
they don't need a 4-game win streak. The teams behind them are terrible.
Yeah.
They've been losing for a month and a half straight. And
nobody can catch them.
And nobody's catching them.
No.
The Sixers beat the Bulls and still can't catch them. It doesn't make sense.
It's wild.
It's because they're tanking. They're trying to lose their pick, or they're trying to keep their pick.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're first in the Eastern Conference, 44-10, first in offense, 8th in defense, 2nd in net rating. These fellas, they're title contenders. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are.
Most surprising team in the league, do you think? Like when you compare them to what we thought nobody thought the Cavs were going to be a 60-plus win team.
We had them as playoff locks, right?
Yeah.
That's 2 categories down. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's levels to it because I think the next team we'll talk about, the Pistons, are definitely a surprise team.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't think anybody tabbed the Cavs as like the surprise title contender coming into this season.
No. They are going to try a bunch of different defenses the rest of the way. They're trying to take that 8th-ranked defense up. Mm-hmm. Players are talking about it. Got to get it to 5. Got to get to 5. So that's what's going to happen throughout these games. Kenny Atkinson is going to try different stuff. As he said, you work on a playoff adjustment a day. He said he stole that from Ty Lue. Ty Lue used to say that. And maybe it's fitting that the Cavs here at the 8th-ranked defense, and Ty Lue was the guy who used to say that, the Cavs took a 10th-ranked defense to the NBA Finals and won the championship in 2016 behind Ty Lue. So, maybe that's a good sign for these Cavs going in the future here. But, yeah, when they play the Celtics later on, they're going to try something different here later on this month when they play them one more time, I should say.
And there's a reason why they obviously went and got Hunter at the trade deadline.
Yep.
For some wing defense and obviously hoping he can still shoot for them. So that makes sense. Their offense has been elite this year. Only team in the league that ranks in the top 5 from all 3 spots on the floor. That's wild. They shoot over 61% in the paint. That's 2nd in the NBA. They shoot about 44% from the mid-range. That ranks 5th. And then they're the best 3-point shooting team in the league still at 39.3%. So to do it across inside, mid-range, and 3-pointer, that's pretty damn impressive. They have an awesome assist-to-turnover ratio. They're just damn good offensively. Can that defense tick up? And then it's really just can they beat the Celtics?
Can they beat the Celtics?
And maybe they match up with the Knicks too. I don't think it's a given that they steamroll a good Knicks team and maybe some of these other teams. But it's are we on a path to just get Celtics versus Cavs in a conference finals? Let's say it sure feels that way. I don't know if somebody can play spoiler, but I just don't know if they can beat the Celtics 4 to 7 times.
Yeah, exactly right. That's the question for me. I think the Cavs are more likely to get knocked off before a matchup with the Celtics in the conference finals than the Celtics would be. I just need to see it from the Cleveland Cavaliers first. We saw them get bounced in the first round against the Knicks. The lights were too bright. They barely survived against the Magic in a 7-game series. Last year went to Game 7, and the Magic were not a very good team, but obviously the Cavs have leveled up some this year, and they got the continuity and, lose, then win, then lose, and then maybe you just keep winning.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But I got them personally behind the Celtics as title contenders.
Yeah. I like how these quotes you're saying, Tass, and you hear from the guys on the team too. I like their mindset. It sure feels like they believe they can go very far and win this championship, but without jumping steps and needing to get better and knowing that championship, you got to go through Boston still in the East at least. So I like all that.
Yeah.
You know, they're not that type of team that's like puffing out their chests and like we're already the best and stuff like that. They're not like that at all.
Yeah. All they talk about is communicating. That's needed in the playoffs.
You gotta talk.
It's good to talk about talking.
Toughest thing to teach a bunch of kids playing basketball. Talk to each other. You gotta talk.
You gotta talk out there.
Yeah. Like it's so weird. Everyone's like just dead silent. You're like, talk on defense, talk on offense, say you're open.
Screen left.
Yeah, man. Exactly. We're talkers. We talk all the time, TK, when we play.
Talk too much, some would say.
Probably. Yeah, we definitely do. Yeah. Better to talk than not talk at all.
That's exactly right. You want to make some noise out there. Another team making noise in the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about them. Number 6 in the East, the Detroit Pistons, 29-26. They are, I think that's 15th in offense. It might be an 18. I think it's a 15. 11th in defense and 15th in net rating.
I like that you're like an old-timey reporter.
You like this? Look at that. Pretty cool. Oh, look at this. Athletic. It's got basketball texture.
He's got a notepad for you podcast
it's
listeners.
pretty sweet. Look, I turned 41. I'm going back to basics.
Yeah. Is the reason because we're using your computer for the tier making?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
That's
want to
what
be switching back and forth between windows here.
I was wondering why you had these notes.
No, that's just a great little notebook to have the pebbled covers.
Yeah.
So I don't drop it accidentally.
Yeah. Very,
Grips.
very nice.
Grips.
It's got grips.
Yeah, I think I misplaced mine. I was disappointed.
I don't know where mine is either after seeing yours. I was like,
Well, I
damn,
got 3
like that.
somehow, so...
Oh, no wonder you
There, you
what?
got him.
Yeah.
What?
Where the hell's mine? I never got one.
Yeah, I don't know how he got
really?
this, man. He's
Sorry, guys. I don't know.
What?
Check the copyright.
That's surprising.
Okay.
It's because once you turn 40, you get one. And JD.
Yeah, I missed it.
Too early.
Yeah, too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is just a big old rock, JD, and you use another rock to carve
little
into it. Yeah,
chisel it around. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, the
Thanks for
Pistons. Where are we putting the
Pistons.
Pistons? Playing hopeful or a level above? Is that crazy? What do
No.
you think, Tess?
No, I
Playoff
would throw.
lock?
I would throw them in there. I know it's a bit of a reach at this point, but they are 6th here, and it's gonna be tough to hold it the rest of the way. But I've got faith. It's just simple as that. The schedule isn't extremely easy for them, but I think they want to do it. I think they've got an internal flame in that locker room that keeps them going. I think they've got the energy. I think they got the
Internal flame.
Yeah, yes. Within it, I think it's Isaiah Stewart. He's their flame. He's their guy. He's their energy. And that's a good thing.
They have,
I love that guy, even though you look at him and you say, whoa, he's a little off when you look at him at times, but that's
Flames
what you
burning
need.
bright.
That's what you need.
You need the one crazy guy on your team for sure.
Helpful.
Yeah.
They're on a 4-game win streak, and all 4 of those wins were by double digits as they headed into the All-Star break. So finding their groove a little bit. Already have twice as many wins as they had all last season is amazing.
Yep.
Like they have, like you said, 29 already. They were 14-68. They have not made the playoffs since 2018-19. Can you tell me a little trivia here? The starting lineup for the 18-19 Pistons in Game 1 against the Bucks. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there was no Blake Griffin, if you remember. He missed
hurt.
a couple of games. But just give me the starting lineup for the Pistons in the 2019 playoffs.
Reggie Jackson was.
Reggie Jackson
he's
was
gotta
one
be
of their
around.
guards.
Tobias Harris? No, he would have been a Sixer at that point. Tobias
Andre
Harris.
Drummond.
Andre Drummond, the big man. Yeah, there's another skinnier big man, which I was like, what? Obviously was taking, I think, the spot of Blake Griffin in the starting
Griffin
lineup.
Started for Blake Griffin. Sekou
Henry-
Doumbouya.
No,
Henry Ellenson.
No.
He's not starting.
no. This guy's got a very a unique name.
Austin Day.
No.
Wow. Besides the 1 and 5, I don't know who's playing beside these guys.
Yeah.
I don't know
This
what
guy's
2. I don't know a
this guy's a
3. I don't know a 4.
7-footer from South Sudan. I'm going to give you that.
Thon Maker.
There you go.
Started game 1 of the playoffs.
Started, dude.
At
Oh,
power
Stanley
forward.
Johnson?
No, good guess.
They played against the
There's a
Cavs.
guy with the
The
golden
Cavs, right?
arm.
Oh, no way. Wayne Ellington.
Wayne Ellington and one more you'll never
He
get,
had
so
a
I'll just
bad
tell you.
series.
What a great name.
Bruce Brown. Listen to that starting lineup. Reggie Jackson, Bruce Brown, Thon Maker, Wayne Ellington, and Andre Drummond.
Were they over 500?
They were 41-41 that
Okay.
year.
I mean, Blake was
And it was all
NBA, I think, that
yeah,
season,
it
right?
was. Yeah, and he came back in that series, but he was hurt. And
Wow.
they got swept by the Bucks.
He came back to eat pizza. Because it was the Little Caesars arena that he came back for.
He did come back at home. You're right.
Yeah.
That's the eternal flame
Anyway.
they have burning. It's the pilot light for the pizza. Exciting. Will the Pistons finish 500? They're 29-26 right now, so they got 3 games to play with in the last 30-ish here. It seems reasonable they will. I'm actually thinking they're a playoff lock because they've got a 2.5 game lead on the Orlando Magic, who are currently in 7th. They've been very disappointing since the calendar turned to 25, basically. Behind them are the Hawks. Who knows if they're going to ever be able to string together enough games to catch the Pistons. They're 3 games behind them. The Heat, I don't think have looked great since the trade deadline either. Mm-hmm. Detroit, for me, the end of the playoff locks. Great season for them. Great season for Cade Cunningham. I got to eat some crow on this one. This guy's been incredible this season. I'd say he's even been better than Paolo Banchero has been.
Fair.
Wow.
Schumann says the Pistons have 9 rest advantage games left on their schedule too. So
seems good.
That's good because all these games are going to matter. So okay, I'm with you guys. Playoff locks. I love it. Wow.
Yeah, they've
leveling up.
They've got the 18th hardest schedule the rest of the way. Does that matter? Well, I think 18th just seems like, okay, middle of the pack. I think they've got a nice couple games against the Wizards, 2 victories. Nice couple games against the Pelicans, 2 victories. So there you got 33 wins. If they're winning all 4 of those games, they're on their way. They're on their way to be a 500 team. Good for them.
Incredible season so far. It'd be fun just for them to get in there as a 6th seed, and I guess would be taking on, probably looking at the Knicks in that potential series, right?
It's going to be 3-6. It's going to be Knicks, Pistons. Yeah. They want that week off that you get if you do make a playoff team instead of a play-in team, so you can go hard into New York, lit by the flame that is Isaiah Stewart, to go steal a game. To go steal one game in New York. Great article on Isaiah Stewart and the after-school program that he's making happen in Detroit, because he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. Love this guy. Hunter Patterson wrote it for The Athletic.
Great stuff. Our next competitor in the ranking list, the number 4 seed currently, Indiana Pacers, 30-23. They're 9th in offense, 21st in defense, 14th in net rating. And they've had a nice little streak here. They've been playing pretty well since, they kind of fell by the wayside, I think, at the beginning of the season. Halliburton wasn't playing all that well. They seem to kind of not figure out how their offense is supposed to be functioning. They've really, really turned it around.
Top 5 team in the league, I think, since we've turned to 2025. Okay. 14-5 since January 1st, after you said like a very slow start to the season. They rank 8th in offensive rating, 9th in defensive rating over that same stretch. So they've unlocked something here, playing like more like we saw from last year's Pacers. They're a playoff lock. They're ahead of the Pistons.
Yep.
I think we're just debating whether you think they have another conference finals run in them. Did they get lucky? But could they be a nightmare matchup for some teams? I'm pretty confident with just putting them at probably near the top-ish of the playoff locked here.
Yeah, I think they do have another level. I think they're going to have a home series in the playoffs. I think they're going to finish 4th. I think the fact that Aaron Nesmith has come back, he's been back for a bit, but they have figured out what their defense is now. So they're top 6 of Halliburton, Siakam, Mathurin, Turner, and Nembhard and Nesmith.
Nembhard's important to them too.
Totally.
He's one of these players. It's like your team is just way better when he's out there.
That's part of the reason they were struggling early in the season is Nesmith and Nembhard were out. And I don't know. You'd have to check the numbers on this, but it seems to me like the Pacers are probably like the 18th best defense through 3 quarters, and then they're awesome in the 4th quarter. They basically just start pressuring the ball like crazy with Nembhard and Nesmith, and have been able to flip a lot of games in 4th quarters recently.
Yeah, so the question is, are they a Final Four? So I guess in the Eastern Conference, obviously, it's the Celtics and Cavs are gonna be there. The Knicks are included in the Final Four. Or kind of have to have 4 Final Fours, sort of. Not really.
I'm happy keeping them here at the top of the playoff blocks for now. Though they did go to the conference finals last year. Yeah. Was it injuries? Was it?
I mean, they
matchups?
benefited no doubt from injuries.
And they had the Bucks number last year. I think they're still beating the Bucks this season.
Yeah.
Shoe
notes that the Pacers play 6 of their first 7 post-break games here at home.
Okay.
So they have a little home stretch here. But 3 of the teams visiting are some of the best teams in the West. They have the Grizzlies, they have the Clippers, and they have the Nuggets. So some good teams coming into their barn, but again, they have a nice little stretch here. So maybe you can put a little more separation, those teams chasing them. But you think they'll have home court advantage, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5? I think still playoff lock, though.
Yeah, they've played 22 home games versus 29 road games, so.
Here we go.
Yeah, maybe they're good.
That'll even out here after this post-All-Star.
Indiana, one of the best arenas to call a barn, I think.
Hell yeah. I love
Fieldhouse.
I do
seems barnish.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a barn.
Yeah. Great stuff. No barns in Miami.
No.
They're 9th in the Eastern Conference, 25-28. They're 22nd in offense, 10th in defense, 17th in net rating. They obviously sent Jimmy Butler to the Warriors, got Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson, who I saw playing center for this team. Turns out he's sticking with the Miami Heat. Where do we got these fellas? They're a play-in team right now.
Yeah, I think that's where they have to stay as a play-in hopeful.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they had the whole Jimmy Butler saga. It had an impact, I believe, on their season. But then they make the deal, and they sort of hit a little rough patch there right before the All-Star break. I think they lost 4 straight. And in doing that, they slipped from like 6th in the Eastern Conference to 9th.
Yeah.
So down into the play-in. And I have to keep them there. This is one of their worst seasons in like the last 10 years, which is, I mean, that's almost a compliment in a way. It's like they've been really good for a long time, but this is not it when you're talking about win percentage and point differential and all that. They'll probably be in the play-in, right? I don't see them they're not going to lean into tanking or anything like that. I mean, they're too far ahead of those other teams anyway.
Not in Miami.
No.
Not Miami.
Not after all that fighting between Pat and Jimmy. You can't just say, hey, we want to lose now. After all that.
True.
It's an interesting, it's like a direct flop of the Indiana Pacers. Pacers, depending on when you're taking notes or what website you're taking notes from, Trey, for the rankings, whether it's Basketball Reference or NBA.com, the Pacers are 9th in offense, 22nd in defense throughout the season, but they're getting better defensively. There's no doubt. They're getting way better because their guys are getting healthier. The Heat are 22nd in offense, 11th in defense, but the offense is getting worse without Jimmy Butler. And the question is if Wiggins can become a consistent third scorer, because the defense is going to be good, but they just need somebody outside of Ty. And I don't know why I call Tyler Ty. That's just a weird
call. That's a real
call.
Joey Maz of you.
Yeah.
Ty hero.
Outside of Tyler and Bam, they need a third guy, and Wiggins just has to be that guy.
I can't
He
stop
has to,
thinking
but I don't
of that
believe it.
Wiggins clip of when they introduced him to the team, and they had some Heat gala. Did you guys see this clip? And they're all playing sort of instruments, and they're all on stage, and it's just Andrew Wiggins, just sort of not really knowing what to do, and he's sort of hitting the drums. I can't get it out of my mind, where he just feels so out of place for whatever reason.
Yeah. I don't think anybody knew what they were doing.
No, yeah.
Everybody was just kind of like, what? Why are all the players up there playing instruments?
Not like us in our first photo shoot for NBA TV. After that, we all had to play fake instruments.
We should post that clip again.
Yeah, we were rocking, man. We looked like we knew what we were doing up there.
Yeah. Was he on the recorder? Yeah.
I was playing a guitar.
I was on
You
the
were on
drums.
the drums.
Lee also had a guitar.
Maybe you were a trumpet or something like that.
I don't remember,
I think he had a
actually. I
recorder.
think we took turns.
No, we didn't. We didn't. I'm pretty
It
sure.
sounds hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Just the drums like
I'm just-
jazz music.
So okay,
Great stuff.
This is a team I do not like to watch. I'm sorry. I just don't. They play slow and.
You got them above or below the Hawks? I put them above right now. Though they are below currently in the standings by
Wow.
one game.
Wow. Ooh, yeah, sure. Leave them there.
They got better health, I think, at least than the Hawks.
Yeah.
But if you're wearing red and black, you are a play-in team right now. The Milwaukee Bucks, they're 5th in the Eastern Conference, 29-24 on the season. They go 12-12-1 offense, defense, net ratings per Basketball Reference. I'm a brand ambassador. For them, but not for NBA.com, so that's where you're getting my stats from. The Milwaukee Bucks. Do you want to call him a Final Four flirt? Do you have faith that Giannis Antetokounmpo can make it happen?
Yeah, they went 3-3 without Giannis there in their final 6
good.
before the All-Star break.
That's good. Giannis back healthy, he'll be good. But they're relying so much on their third guy, whoever that is. It's supposed to be Kyle Kuzma now.
It might be Kyle Kuzma sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that ain't good.
I think he just got engaged.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
Congratulations.
shout out to Kyle
cool.
Kuzma. Yeah.
Winnie Harlow said she's always
right.
wanted to live in Milwaukee. So that's why they can finally get married.
Yeah, they have a good offense, a good defense. But it just seems like there's such a drop off after Giannis and Lillard, and there is.
Yeah.
They might get to the playoffs. They will get to the playoffs, but it's just what kind of series are those two guys having? Because it's kind of like the team that wins the NBA Cup, as we've seen before, that has a drop off in the playoffs. That's what's going to happen here.
They're the Cup champs.
I would put them below the Indiana Pacers in the playoff locks, because I do consider them a playoff lock, but I'm taking the Pacers in that series.
Wow.
Because it does feel like it's going to be a 4-5, those two teams. Indy's my squad. I think they're getting better, while the Bucks, I don't see how they get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you get into, like, did they really improve their lineup and their roster by swapping Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma? You know, we're going to get a couple months here to see how that works. I just, like, if the Bucks are, like, hitting from deep, you like their chances. But if they have one of those nights that they're cold, they have no chance to win. They're like, and I know you can say that about a lot of teams in the NBA. Like, on any given night, you hit your threes, you're more likely to win. But them, I feel more than any other team. Shu has a stat to back it up. When they're sub league average from deep in a game, like, so 36%, let's call it, they're 3-14. Like, they just almost never win those games where their 3-pointer is not at least hitting at an above average sort of rate. So this is a team I'm torn on. Of course, you could see Giannis, like, taking a team to a conference finals run or whatever, maybe even another finals run, but you don't have all that much faith in it compared to these other teams that feel like they have just a better roster and can beat you in different ways at the top of the East. So yeah, they're a playoff lock, but I like where you put them, slotting them behind the Pacers.
Yeah, it's funny that they're 12th offense, 12th defense, which is good, I guess.
They're good.
They're good, but
they don't inspire you.
No,
yeah.
Especially with Kuzma as their third option. He hasn't been good this season. He hasn't been good with Milwaukee. Shooting 22% from three. Does he get the engagement bump?
Ooh,
maybe he plays
something
better.
Something to watch.
He's been playing with concern in his heart. Why did she say yes?
Yeah.
Now flying free
let it rip.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it rip.
Right.
You got your girl. Let it rip. That's good. That could be a short. Keep your eye on that. If he catches fire here, we're doing
That'd be very funny.
Yeah, he flew across the country with an engagement ring in his pocket. That's the rumor. He had it on him. He was nervous. Am I going to lose it? Why would he be nervous? He makes $1 bajillion a season.
Another one.
Yeah. All right, I like it. Behind the Pacers in the playoff locks. Our next candidate for ranking, the New York Knicks. They're third in the East, 36-18. They're awesome on offense. Second in the league.
Yep.
20th in defense. Averages out to 5th in net rating, though apparently they can't beat the top of the Eastern Conference.
I've brought that up before.
Mm-hmm.
They're 0-5 against the top three teams in the league. But they visit two of them, the Cavs and the Celtics, I believe this weekend. So a couple more tests here for the Knicks. But they spent their entire offseason upgrading their roster to really compete with the Celtics, if we're being honest, getting Mikal Bridges, trading all of that draft capital, potentially overpaying to keep OG Anunoby, and then making the trade for Karl-Anthony Towns. To me, that is that is to beat the Boston Celtics and maybe win a championship. But, they've had two ugly blowout losses to Boston so far. But they're going to get another crack at it. They're a Final Four flirt to me. I cannot put them as a title contender until I see them beat these best teams.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, they haven't played Cleveland yet, so they play them three more times here at the end of the season. So maybe that's the time that they find a different defense. It's kind of hard to say that, though. They play them this week on Friday, and maybe Mitchell Robinson will be back to help out, but he's probably just going to be coming off the bench to start. He's not going to start on this team with Karl-Anthony Towns, I don't think. Eventually, I doubt it. It's
two big lineups are very, very popular.
They're hot right now.
Yes, they're hot right now.
Let's see if they try it.
Well,
seems weird. That would be a weird two big lineup. I'm with you guys. Final Four flirts, because I do think the Knicks are a team that, like, if matchups end up right for them, they could go to the conference finals for sure.
Yeah,
that's a team that could be on fire for a month straight, I do believe.
And you've brought this up before, TK. I think you had Brunson as your favorite to win clutch player of the year.
Yep.
Good stat from Shu here. He leads the league in clutch usage rate at nearly 47%. Highest rate for any player in the last 6 seasons. And he's one of two players, Jokic is the other one, who've shot better than 50% on at least 50 clutch shots.
It's pretty good.
So you're in a close game. You like your chances with Brunson.
Yeah.
Running point, obviously, is just amazing in the clutch this year and has been for a while. But yeah, I just got to see them beat the Celtics mainly, and we'll see how they do against the Cavs. They got to beat some of these best teams because they didn't beat the Thunder as well, right?
All right, we'll see if it's a paper, rock, scissors thing where, like, the Celtics can beat the Knicks. I'm with you. The Celtics have the Knicks number a little bit, but maybe the Knicks can beat the Cavs. We shall see if that turns out to be the case. The Orlando Magic, they're 7th in the Eastern Conference after a real tough stretch here. 27-29. They're 29th in offense, 2nd in defense, 18th in net rating. And, man, 29th in offense, 2nd in defense. That sounds exactly like the Orlando Magic to me.
Yeah.
Because every game this team plays is 99-97, it feels like.
Who do you think is their best guy that plays 3-point shooter?
Best guy that plays three-point shooter,
Yep.
Tristan Da Silva.
Bingo,
Is
my
it?
man. You're right. NBA sicko. That was a tough question, and you nailed it. Here's how he's shooting. 33%.
Whoa.
He's 63 for 190. He's at 33%. He's the best shooter on the Magic that plays any significant minutes.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's just they're so bad. And they were bad last year, and they somehow got even worse in terms of shooting the three-pointers. So, like, the defense is elite. We love Suggs. We love Paolo and Franz and these guys and what they were building there, and they're well coached. But in today's NBA, you got to hit threes. You have to hit some.
33%.
And they just
low.
can't. That's like, so they need a Paolo, like, sort of like where he catches fire, or Franz, like, and maybe it happens, but I mean, what you've seen so far this season, there's like no indication that they can even be an average 3-point shooting team. Yeah.
Yeah, the 30.6 on NBA.com. And when I did the fly,
30.6 as a team.
yeah, and when I did the flyback through the last 20 years, I think they would be the worst 3-point shooting team since like 04-05. Period.
Whoa.
That's before teams knew about three-pointers.
Yeah, if that still holds, I think it is. I think they would be the worst team. Literally, it's that era. It's 04, 05, or 05, 06. I mean, they need a ball handler desperately just to be better. They need Jalen Suggs back. They haven't won 2 in a row in almost 2 months when they were awesome. That's a long time ago. It was around Christmas, and it's highly unlikely he's playing tomorrow. He's still limited in practice. I did that search. I said, is Jalen Suggs coming back? Because they have been so bad without him. Mm-hmm. It's really, really bad. Even though he's a worse 3-point shooter than Tristan Da Silva, they just need a ball handler.
Yeah.
Period.
So where are we putting them? Are they still just a play-in hopeful? They're in the mix there.
I mean, he might be back soon, so they're not a lock to me.
No,
Yeah,
they're not for me either.
Exactly. Play-in lock. I mean, playoff hopeful, I think, is probably what the Mavs would call, or the Magic would call themselves here. Hoping that when Suggs comes back and they can get a little bit of ball movement, and it's not Paolo and Franz having to create for everybody. Because Paolo, he's like a last-second creator. If he gets cut off, he's going to make the dish. Franz is more of an actual playmaker, I think, but having those two as your main guys, it has not been pretty. So I would go play-in hopeful.
Okay, where are within that tier? Just after the Heat, ahead of the Heat. Okay.
I mean, the Magic, of those 4 teams, the Heat, Magic, Hawks, and Bulls, they're the only one that have an elite anything.
Yeah.
They've got an elite defense at the very least, so they'll be in games. It's just a matter of can they actually score enough to win them.
Okay. I'm fine with that positioning
Okay.
right now in the play-in hopefuls.
Okie doke. Philadelphia 76ers, they're 11th in the East, 20 and 34, 23rd in offense, 23rd in defense, 22nd in net rating.
They
They did just get Lonnie Walker, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
2 years, $3 million.
They're calling him the Alex Len of the Eastern Conference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, that's a diss right there. They've lost 5 straight, including 3 in which they had their 3 big guys. So, even though those guys are sort of back from time to time, I'm talking Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, it doesn't really matter right now. It's not good. This is going to be a weird tangent, but back in university, we wrote a show. It was basically, we went for broadcast television, right? And we had to write a show. And it was basically a knockoff of The Office, but it was on like a resident floor in college. It was called The Floor. And I bring all this up because there was one line in that show that always made us laugh, or always made me laugh. It was one of my favorite lines. There was like a party going on and it got shut down. JD, I don't know if you remember this. And the main guy, the guy that was like the resident RA, he turns to the DJ, which was played by our friend Paul, and just goes, "Shut her down, Raj." And that's the Philadelphia 76ers at this point of the season. Shut her down, Raj. Because they should shut down Embiid. They should lean into tanking because this is just a lost season. So shut her down, Raj.
By the way, to Paul Dub, he killed it.
Yeah.
It was like, he had no lines.
No
but
lines.
Just dejected.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of the entire
Oh my
thing.
God,
It's
so
actually
funny.
legit funny.
So
yeah.
funny.
So that's them. That's the Sixers, man.
Well, we don't have a shutter down Raj category, unfortunately.
Make one.
Yeah, that is the category. The day they decide to shut it down. I don't know what day it's going to be, but it's got to be one of the next 2 months here. Because it's going to be in the regular season. It's not going to look good, but they have gone the other direction. Getting Lonnie Walker. They think he can turn it on for a quarter. I mean, he had a 14-point quarter for the 14-point fourth quarter for the Los Angeles Lakers in the playoffs.
I remember that.
In 23, I guess it was, when they went to the conference finals. Yeah, they're hoping. They are hoping.
So what are we saying, though? Would they be a play-in hopeful? Because, I mean, they're trying to get into the 10th seed, or are they legitimately going to be tanking away at the end of the season here? They're losing a ton right now. I don't know if it's on purpose, but they're losing a ton right now. It's hard to figure out, but their pick is top 6 protected, so it's good for them to be bad.
I would put them in the Flag Seekers.
All right, I
think that's the direction they should take. I think they, whether their guys play or not, it doesn't even matter. You just said it. They can't win anyway. They're not good.
Exactly.
Yeah, they should have been folding for weeks. The funny part is they're going the absolute different direction, the opposite direction. They're going to keep trying. They may not even sit their guys this season. They might just go for it all the way.
They're losing anyway.
They're losing anyways. They're going to be passed by the Toronto Raptors. Looking at the standings, they're going to be passed.
Okay.
They stink so bad.
If that's the case, then they need to be in that tier, the bottom tier.
Let's get into it then. The 13th seeded Toronto Raptors are 17-38 by my math. That's 3.5 games shy of the Sixers in 11th. Raptors are 25th in offense, 25th in defense, 26th in net rating.
Been bad.
Tass, you're thinking playoff lock. Skeets, where do you want to put them?
I mean, I think I would have them still in the Flag Seekers.
Flag boys?
Yeah. They had a solid stretch there in January. Okay, they did. But, you know, they've now been playing the better teams in the league, and they lost 5 of 6, though I think they have the easiest schedule remaining.
Oh, they absolutely do.
So there's that. You know, when you're looking at the cumulative opponent winning percentage, they play a lot of bad teams. Only 5 of their 27 games are against teams currently above 500. They have 22 games against teams that are sub 500.
Yeah, listen to this, baby. They play the Wizards thrice. 3 more times. They play the Jazz twice, the Hornets twice, the Nets twice, the Sixers twice, and the Bulls twice.
Wow, that's
all right.
Favorable schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, this category is the playing hopeful. They're hoping.
Okay.
And they're going to play their better players at some point. You know, Brandon Ingram's going to show up. And
is he?
I think, unless they want to go the other direction. I think this team literally could make the play-in and finish with the NBA's 10th worst record. And you could still win the first pick. You could, maybe, perhaps. But it is one of those weird things.
Hawks did it last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've had Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes all in the lineup for 7 of their games this season. That said, they weren't even good in those 7 games. They were 1-6, 1-6 in those games, and they were outscored by a ridiculous amount in those games. So that was an issue. But yeah, will we see BI? Will they get more reps? I guess playing hopeful.
Let's go.
But I would not hold my breath.
Welcome to the party, boys.
I just want to correct myself.
Hawks, Bulls, and Raptors must always be connected.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah. All right.
What were you going to say?
I just want to correct myself. Magic shooting 30.6% from 3. That would be the worst 3-point shooting since 12-13. It's 12-13. It ain't 20 years, but it's solid. A solid 13 years.
Who was that?
Sixers? They were process mode at that point, I think, right?
I don't know. I can. That's
well, my guess is it's a bad team, and as is this. The 15th seeded Washington Wizards, 9-45, our only single-digit win team in the Eastern Conference. They are 30th in every rating.
Oh gosh.
Offense, defense, and net rating. They lost a lot of games by like 15 points this year.
Yeah.
They get destroyed.
Schumann says they're in position to be the first team in the 29 seasons for which we have play-by-play data to rank in the bottom 10 in each of the 4 factors on offense and on defense. Effective field goal percentage, turnover percentages, rebounding percentages, both offensively and defensively, and then the free throw to field goal attempted. So like whether you're getting the line and how much you're fouling. Bottom 10 in every single category. No one's done that in the 29 years that we have the data for it. That's something else.
That's like a Happy Gilmore. I'm the only guy to take off my skate and try to stab somebody kind of stat. Not good.
They're dumb, young, and full of losses. But they're a bad team, but they are very young. 45% of their minutes from rookies or second-year players. So
but now they got Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart.
Well, yeah, they got some vets in there.
Are they going to play?
You know what? Okay.
Middleton will play, I think. Smart, he's basically been out for 2 straight years.
Yeah. And we're clowning on them, but they did show a little bit of promise before the All-Star break. Like, they got a bit better. They had some victories, but they're a Cooper Flagg Seeker.
They're a flagster.
Like, without a doubt.
Will they catch the Hornets? The Hornets have 4 more wins than the Wizards at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. 9 wins for the Hornets, 13 wins for the Hornets, 9 wins for the Wizards.
Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think anybody nobody catches the Wizards for the worst.
Worst? You
record.
think they'll finish worst? I bet you're probably right,
so.
but I think they'll win more games than the Hornets over this last stretch here.
Okay.
Cool.
But it won't be. They'll run out of time.
Yeah,
saying.
don't worry. They'll still finish bottom 4 and get those great odds. Let's switch to the Western Conference.
Okay.
It was the Timberwolves that were the worst shooting team in 12-13. Who was their best 3-point shooter?
Kevin Love?
He was injured, unfortunately, but no. Actually, surprisingly, he was 21% from 3 in his 18 games that he played.
Okay.
Oh wow.
18 games, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
He was a bad shooter.
Who
This is
was
hard.
their best? Yeah, this is
Yeah,
tough.
yeah, it's hard to
Troy
remember
Hudson.
that he played for the Timberwolves. He's an NBA champion, though, not with the Timberwolves. But then he went, because he won an NBA championship, went to the Timberwolves and signed a juicy deal.
JJ Barea.
That's
Woo!
Good
Nice.
hands. Really good
Nice.
hands.
All right.
And a great player to mention because we're starting with the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference. They are 8th in the West, 30 and 26th. They are 7th in offense, 14th in defense, 10th in net rating, though obviously most of those statistics are from the first half of the season when they had Luka Doncic playing 22 games rather than Anthony Davis and Max Christie. They've got a ton of injuries right now.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're over 6'9", you're hurt on the Mavericks. Sorry.
Yeah. I will say they're not letting go of the rope.
No.
Despite all those injuries, all their bigs, Anthony Davis obviously just coming to the team, Gafford, Lively, PJ Washington, and they somehow won 4 of their last 5 games before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And these are in the Western Conference. All these are important. They're 2 games back of the Clippers for the 6th spot, but they got to pass Minnesota to advance directly to the playoffs. So there's teams obviously in their way to get in there. It is a tough one to figure out because they're just a new makeup of the team, and their main guy that they got back for Luka he's out for a little bit here. So
Oh, yeah, this is tough because they have won 4 or 5. They beat Boston in Boston. They look like a team that you could squint and say Final Four flirt, but you could also say playing hopeful because the
I was
West
gonna
is so
say,
tough.
Big gamut here. Yeah.
The West is so tough. We could literally have the largest number of Final Four flirts, depending where you cut it off in the standings, because the Mavs are 8th. But a lot of these teams are going to miss. I mean, some of these teams are going to miss. So you kind of have to, I guess we have to kind of pick one, because I could squint and see the 2 seed, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers, Wolves, Mavs, all in the Final Four. Maybe. Perhaps. That's where I cut it off. I could see the Mavs. If they're playing that hard. But who knows when these guys are coming back, really.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But anyway, are they a playoff lock? I mean, I would say no. But could I see them as a Final Four flirt?
have to
I would
agree.
say
They
Yeah,
don't feel
maybe.
like a lock right
No.
now with all the injuries because, who's their center that's even coming back first? Lively's been out the longest.
Yeah, he might be
Yeah.
out long. He might be out till April.
Anthony Davis is obviously the best of the 3.
Yeah.
Gafford is most recent. They said, 6 weeks for
Yeah.
him? So
Yeah.
it'd be like playoff time almost when he comes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So PJ probably.
Oh, yeah, PJ
but,
Washington, he's also out. Yeah,
he
his
is,
was an
he is
ankle,
a
right?
big for them. Yeah.
I guess that heals faster.
Yeah.
I would be happy putting him at the top of the play-in hopefuls.
Yeah.
They looked great that one half that Anthony Davis was dominating.
It looked awesome.
They looked awesome.
yeah.
Kyrie's had some really nice games since
yeah.
the trade as well.
It's
Weird team. Defense wins championships.
Yeah. Wow. It's weird to put them there, isn't it? Playing hopefuls. What a weird season.
Weird season. Up next, the Denver Nuggets. They're currently 3rd in the Western Conference, 36 and 19. They're on a win streak right now. 3rd in the league in offense, 17th in defense, and 6th in net rating for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Longest active winning streak in the league right now.
8.
8 straight.
I think all against losing teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Took care of business. I think they're still, to me, a championship contender. We had them there in the preseason. If we had done this, 6 weeks into the start of the regular season, I don't know if we would have kept them there. It would have been interesting then. But what they've shown recently, the way Michael Porter Jr. had an awesome stretch, Jamal Murray, I mean, he's the
back.
ultimate, if Jamal Murray's cooking, you know what Jokic is giving you, you got a chance to maybe do it the whole thing again and win it all. So I would keep them in the title contenders, but probably near the back end of it.
If there's one team in the Western Conference to throw in there with OKC, it's got to be this team.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, I'll jump in the Houston Rockets wagon when they were hot, but
don't
it's
the
this
Nuggets
team.
experience alone put them ahead of Grizzlies, ahead of Rockets, as great as they've been? as solid as they've been,
Yeah.
as deep as they are, I think it sort of does. Like, even like, and then they have like an advantage over the LA teams that sort of have new makeups. Obviously, the Lakers with Luka, Clippers, a newer team than what they've had before. Like, the Denver Nuggets do have, at least in their main guys, have that continuity. So that's where I have more faith in them, I guess, than a lot of those teams I just listed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the biggest threat, I think, to
The
Thunder in the Western Conference. Though we'll see. I mean, like, a big part of the Nuggets' offense this year, third in the league, is that they're the best fast break team in the league. Usually, fast break basketball goes away come playoff time, but not every team has Nikola Jokic and Russell Westbrook, which are two huge fast breakers. So we shall see. But yeah, I still got a lot of confidence in the Nuggets as well. Also, happy birthday, Nikola Jokic.
Oh yes, you share a birthday. Him, Dave Stewart,
Yep.
the former Athletics pitcher,
Yep. And Mike Miller.
and Mike Miller and his monkey.
That's right. I've stolen something from all of those guys for my game.
Go on.
Dave Stewart?
Let's hear them all three.
Yeah, well, the monkey from Mike Miller, of
Yeah,
course.
okay.
I just am a fan of having unusual pets. From Nikola Jokic, I've stolen his entire game. And from Dave Stewart, the intensity, the will to win.
Wow. He had quite a stare on the mound, didn't he? Imposing.
Yeah, scary pitcher.
Yeah.
There's talks about him bringing a baseball team to Nashville. Maybe every single Nashville nickname, whatever they call them, will stare at the other team. Hardcore on the field. They'll have the Dave Stewart stare.
Nashville
You just
maybe
had
getting a
Dave
baseball
Stewart
team.
fact. I like that. That was pretty
Hey,
impressive.
I learned a baseball fact last night.
Okay.
It's sort of tied to what you're saying. If they put a team in Nashville,
yeah.
you name the closest MLB team by proximity to Atlanta, to the Braves.
It's got to be Tampa.
It's not. It's tough.
So it's not Tampa, Miami?
No.
Is that closer?
No.
The Washington Nationals?
Nope. Go to your neck of the woods ish, TK.
Yeah. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, apparently.
The Reds.
I'm going off what somebody told me while we were having a beer last night after basketball. I didn't trust
legit.
that man with my life. Isn't that crazy?
Seems legit to me.
Yeah. That's so far to Florida. That's the thing.
That's fine.
It's deceivingly far.
It
Yeah.
is deceiving.
Really hangs down there.
Oh yeah.
Really dangles down off the
So
United
anyway.
States.
That trivia wouldn't work if they put a team in Nashville.
Yeah, I have to completely rewrite the books. But look, you can change the name of anything if you want to. So the distance, no big deal. The Golden State Warriors are 10th in the Western Conference, 28-27. They just traded for Jimmy Butler. Had some good success with him so far.
Yep.
17th in offense, 9th in defense, 16th in net rating. How high do you want to go for the Golden State Warriors?
Well, Draymond Green says title contenders.
That's right.
During All-Star Weekend, Draymond Green had a lot to say about a lot of things. But
Spicy boy.
He said, quote, since Jimmy's been here with the Warriors, we've walked into every game thinking and believing that we're going to win that game. And that goes a long way in this league. And then he went on to make a very bold statement. Draymond said, we are going to win a championship. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even corrected himself. The first time he said, I think we're going to win the championship.
That's right.
And about 10 seconds later, he said, let me correct myself. We're going to win the championship. I don't think it.
You sound like Dave Stewart.
10th place team in the Western Conference. Can you throw them into the title contenders category?
No.
Right. Hey, he said it. Draymond said it.
Yeah, he said it.
That's
He's
true.
in
That's
the
true.
Bay Area. He's in front of all of his own fans.
Yeah.
You got to
Oh,
play
yeah.
to the crowd. I get that.
Yeah, like I said, I think we could have a huge amount of teams in the Final Four flirt category. And I went down as far as the 8th place Dallas Mavericks thinking that. But the Warriors drop into 10th. Yeah.
They're 3.5 games out of the 6th seed, which is currently the Clippers,
Yeah.
and that's the last guaranteed playoff spot.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, they feel like a better team to me than a play-in hopeful, but
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. But are they a lock? It's tough to say. Look, they have 2 huge games after this break is over, which is obviously this weekend or this Thursday or Friday. They visit the 9th place Kings on Friday, and then they host the 8th place Mavericks 2 days later. So
okay.
huge games for them to obviously start leapfrogging some of these teams. They're 3-1 with Jimmy. Predictably, as we all thought, he's helped them at getting easy points because he gets to the damn free throw line where,
Makes
you know,
sense.
through the first 50 games, they averaged, like, as a team, like 20 free throw attempts per game. He's already bumped that up to, like, 25, 26. So that's good. You know, they do have, like, a little more life to them. And again, that was like why we were like, yeah, trade for Jimmy Butler. This season's just like, it's like a slog. Like you got to shake it up and get like a guy like Jimmy in your locker room. And so Draymond believes it's working. I know they asked Steph about it too, like about Draymond's comments, and he didn't double down saying we're going to win the championship, but there's no doubt there's more belief that they can go up the Western Conference standings and beat anybody they think in a 4-game series or in a best-of-7 series. So, playoff lock?
And I'm like, I would take the Warriors over the Pistons. No offense.
None taken.
Yeah, right.
That's why it's weird.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why it's weird.
But yeah, I hear you.
I would also maybe take the Mavs over the Pistons. Who knows? There's a the play-in is different in the West.
Well,
than the
yeah,
East, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to put the Warriors as a playoff lock.
Do we do? Yeah, I'm fine putting them there. One day, maybe we should do an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference.
Splitsville?
Splitsville.
Yeah, but either
Probably
way.
right.
Could probably split up the podcast too, get more content out of it.
Nah, people like the long streams.
Yeah.
This is an Austin Powers long stream.
Okay, that's fine. I have faith more in the Warriors than a lot of the teams like in that vicinity right now. Yeah.
Houston Rockets are currently 4th in the Western Conference, 34-21. They're 14th in offense, 4th in defense, and 7th in net rating. The Houston Rockets, great season already for these fellas. When Fred VanVleet's hitting, when Dylan Brooks is hitting, they can beat anybody.
Yeah. They slumped their way into the All-Star break.
Yes.
They lost 7 of their past 9 games. A lot of those losses without Fred VanVleet. Their offensive rating just plummets without Steady Freddie there.
They need him.
Yeah, and it's not like Fred VanVleet is Jalen Brunson. Like, he's not that good. He's not that clutch, but he's one of those players, just super important to run your team and get you better shots at least. And he does have a little clutch gene in him too. But I don't know where to put this team. As great as they've been, I don't feel like they're a Final Four flirt. I think they're more of a playoff lock. That I'm confident about.
Yeah. I squint and I could see them getting to that Final Four, that's for sure. But, playoff lock is fine, especially Fred VanVleet is really important. Jalen Green ain't running the offense. Fred is coming back most likely Friday against Minnesota, and that makes a whole new team.
Yeah.
They did get to the break at a good time here. I'm fine locking them. So I do think they just aren't that same team that really slumped into the All-Star game.
Okay.
They're really bad. But I think if Fred comes back, they're a totally different team.
When's Jabari coming back?
They're totally different. Because to me, a lot of the Rockets, even when they're at full strength, full health, it comes down to can Fred VanVleet make these moonball 3-pointers. He's shooting the same shot. So him not being there was definitely bad for the Rockets, but it still comes down to so much on VanVleet's shoulders to be hitting that's a tough way to live. And like I said earlier, like fast break, defense, offensive rebounding teams in the playoffs, that gets a lot harder. So I think they would have a tough time. Like if it ended up being Houston and the Clippers right now is the 4-5 matchup, I bet a lot of people are picking the Clippers, myself included. Yeah. You throw in the experience and just you got to have an offense when it comes to playoff time, and their offense is not always the most efficient.
Yeah, I guess Udoka said recently that Jabari Smith Jr., who is out with a hand injury, may be cleared for contact work during the All-Star break. So I don't know if that happened, but he could maybe potentially be coming back too.
He's a shooter. He's helpful.
Very important to their team, no doubt. Schumann has a crazy stat about the Rockets. They're tied with the Wolves for the best record in games played between the top 8 teams in the West. So they've done really well against the better teams. They're 12-6, just like Minnesota. And you said they're playing?
Friday.
Playoff lock?
Playoff lock, and near the top of that because 34-21. Great season.
Ahead of the Warriors.
Yeah, I think we almost have to.
Yeah,
right
now, yeah.
They're like 6
ahead
games
of the
up.
Bucks.
Yes.
Ahead of the Pacers.
Yes. All right. I don't know. Tass, you agree? You like them ahead of those other teams? I know we're like doing conference to conference, but you still got to put them in order.
Yeah, that's why I think this is okay. We can rank them within their tiers as well based on the conference.
Yeah, okay.
That's good. All right, nice. Here's the team that I forgot when I first did this. The Los Angeles Clippers. They're currently 6th in. Wait, 1 minute. Oh yeah, LAC. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna look at my notes. The Clippers are 6th in the Western Conference. They're 31-23, 19th on offense, 3rd in defense, 9th in net rating.
Good team.
Good team.
I think they're 10-5 when Kawhi's in the lineup too.
Yep. So been playing more.
Yeah, and they've
got an
honestly
all-star.
Dominated when Kawhi's playing with Harden, Norman Powell, and Zubats. When those guys are on the floor together, they've been really, really good in whatever 250 plus minutes that they've played together. But the Clips. You think they have a Final Four run in them?
I think well, if they're all healthy, yeah.
You think they're better than
do.
the Lakers?
Yes. If they're playing every single one of their guys, yeah, 100%. I do.
And you think they're better than the youthful Grizzlies and Rockets, let's say, or lack of experience in those teams?
It'll be a good series, but yeah, I think they have the makeup of a team that can make the run. Yeah, if Kawhi is Kawhi, I mean that's a big, huge, ginormous part of it, and he's playing with Derek Jones Jr., who went to the NBA Finals last year beside him, and Zubas. Their defense is incredible.
Yeah,
and Kawhi is playing like that secondary point guard as well, just in case James Harden is not there for whatever reason. Like, he's looking good, but who knows if he's going to play basketball? That's the biggest question.
No,
they are the Orlando Magic with an actually offense that you have a lot more faith in because you have Kawhi and you have James Harden and Norman Powell can't miss a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Like they're like, my point is like the defense is elite, like both of them. I think you need to decide here though, because I'm a Clippers hater. You're, I think, more lean towards being a Clippers believer.
Yeah, I'm
so
fine.
I think you should decide where they go.
Well, I'm looking at the ranker here, and we don't have enough teams in the Final Four flirts.
Wow.
I don't know. This is the time to buy into the Clippers, man. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's playing right now.
We've done this before.
Yeah. Oh boy, Alberto. All right.
It is a strange thing with them.
You're going to the playoff locks for right now.
So okay, what we're getting at here, it does sound like Clippers, let's say they're a 5th or 6th seed. Let's say they don't have home court advantage. Okay?
Right.
So they don't have the
They're
wall
6 right now. They're
to
just
start
going
game
against
one.
the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, right.
It's
So
over.
my point was, that's a no. But if they match up against the Rockets, if they match up against the Grizzlies, I guess even the Lakers, like, you sound like you believe that they could beat them. Some of those teams, but some I don't. So
That's the biggest unknown team.
that's
man.
a big unknown. Yeah.
Where are you getting the 40-point playoff game, James Harden, which we saw last year in the playoffs? Or are you getting the 12-point James Harden playoff
Are you
game?
getting top 5 player in the world, Kawhi?
Or are you not getting him?
Yeah.
What a mystery.
Yeah.
What a mystery box.
Okay, but we got them. Final 4 flirts. All right, wow.
The Clippers will be up 3-0 in the NBA Finals, and I'll be like, I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if I can trust them right now.
Up 25 in the 4th of a game-deciding, championship game.
Los Angeles Lakers, they're 5th in the West, 32-20, 10th on offense, 16th in defense, 12th in net rating. Their team is 100% changed. They got Luka Doncic now. He's on the Lakers.
Yeah, doesn't still seem real, right? Because we saw him play what?
One game.
We
Two
saw
games?
one?
2 games.
Two.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
split
two.
against the Jazz.
Yeah.
Or they won one,
Yeah,
lost one.
we watched and talked about the one where they looked
The
great,
one.
and we didn't talk about at all when
No.
they got smoked by the Jazz.
Yeah, right,
The bounce back game.
But, they had that winning streak despite all the big trade with the AD Luka. Like, they were putting together a bunch of victories there, and they were on fire from 3 in that winning streak. They couldn't miss, and the other team couldn't hit. So is that going to come back to earth a little bit? But I mean, they have Luka Doncic now, and they still have LeBron, and they got the pieces. I mean, I think they're better than the Clippers, personally. In a matchup, I should say. If they played each other, I would be definitely taking the Lakers over the Clippers.
Yeah, you don't believe in the Clippers. No. I understand. Because they get injured, that's for sure. I guess with the Lakers, you look at it and you say, yeah, well they got Luka. Well, they got LeBron. Yeah. Why can't they get into a Final Four? That's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
But don't have it as a title contender.
No. I don't.
No, definitely not. The weird thing, though, with the Lakers is, I think they could win any game. I think they could win almost any series, but I don't think they can win enough games in enough series to actually go to the championship. I don't think they could beat the Nuggets. They still don't have a Jokic answer. I mean, most teams in the Western Conference don't.
Right.
So that's why I have them rated so highly, but you can see the Lakers absolutely dissecting any defense that gets thrown at them. They got 2 of the smartest ball handlers making decisions for 48 minutes, and Austin Reeves ain't no slouch either. Final 4 flirts? Are we drinking too much Lakers juice?
Yeah,
Probably.
No. I mean, what you said about how they can dissect 2 different teams, I don't think that's crazy at all. We saw it 2 years ago. It was LeBron and Anthony Davis was a different team that got to the conference finals, but...
And their defense has been good. And Lakers fans will point out that they've had their great defensive run here with Anthony Davis missing time as well.
Yeah.
It's basically been Dorian Finney-Smith getting a lot more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, nasty
They
boys.
have a lot of back-to-backs left on their schedule. Schumann noted in his power rankings. So I don't know if that hurts them here. It's good they put together that little win streak, I think, because I think there's still going to be a lot of growing pains, like with the Luka edition.
Totally.
In terms of figuring out sort of how they're going to run this offense with him and LeBron. They'll figure it out, but it might take a little bit of time. Man, I don't know though. Final Four flirt. So we put the Clippers in the playoff lock in the end. Okay.
We don't have many flirters right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. They can go both ways. They can flirt, but they can also be declined. You know, they could be
shut it down.
Shut it down. Get out of here. I'm fine with putting them there.
That's fine.
Okay.
In the playoff lock.
know.
Tier.
Yeah.
Interesting one here. The Memphis Grizzlies, they're second in the West, 36-18. They're sixth in offense, seventh in defense, and fourth in net rating. But apparently, John Morant might be on the table this summer.
Yeah.
Interesting news for this Memphis Grizzlies team. Do you believe in the Grizzlies? Skeets keep calling them young. They ain't that young. They've had their big three together for years at this point.
Yeah, I guess I'm more inexperienced. That maybe is the way.
I don't
to go.
find them inexperienced either. Those squads have played in the playoffs multiple times together. Bane, Jackson, and John Morant. And they keep coming up short.
Yeah. That's why they're going to trade John Morant, apparently.
Maybe.
They're barely holding on to second place here in the West. They dominate the bad teams.
Yes.
That's the one thing they do. 23-3 against teams currently below 500. So they just kick ass against those teams.
So 13-15 against teams that are over 500.
Yeah. Yeah. So more of an average team there.
Yep. They will play mostly winning teams in the playoffs, I believe.
You always bring up the transition points with them. Like, that's how they win a lot of regular season games, and it tends to go away or at least gets diminished in the postseason. They have, like, Shu says, like, they score, like, 34 transition points per game. It's, like, the largest we've seen since Synergy, like, tracked this thing. So that's awesome. But does their just Grizzly depth and all that play better over the course of a regular season than it does a little bit in the postseason? Seems it has been that way. I don't know. I don't know where to put them. They're a playoff lock, but I don't have a ton of confidence.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think of the end of game team with Morant, Triple J, and Desmond Bane. Those are your guys. That's who you have to rely on, and then hope that Jalen Wells, or whether it's Brandon Clark, or whether it's Gigi Jackson, those guys are just good enough to support those other guys. But it's hard to buy in. But at one point, I guess they'll do it in the playoffs. Maybe.
I don't know. Break right for them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Where do you want to put them?
I would have them ahead of the Houston. Would I have them? I would have them ahead of the Houston Rockets, barely. Even though the Rockets have beat the Grizzlies mostly this season.
Close games.
Close games for sure. Yep.
All right. Playoff lock.
I mean, could they go to a conference finals? Have they been? They've been to a conference finals once, right? Lost to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Poking Bears.
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
That was a good run. The Minnesota Timberwolves are 7th in the West. They're 31-25, 13th in offense, 6th in defense, 8th in net rating. Did make a conference finals last year. Mm-hmm. Are they a Final Four flirt? Do you believe?
Oh, man. This team is up, and you're like, damn, they're good. They're going back to the conference finals, and then they're down. Like, they have done that all season long. 3-game win streak, 3-game lose streak, 3-game win streak, 3-game losing streak. They had a nice win against the Thunder before the All-Star break. One of the only teams to beat the Thunder by double-digit points. That was good.
Yep.
Conley's getting it going again here. That's really good for them. Finch was sort of almost, I don't know if he was forced to, but he started playing some of his younger guys a little bit. Dillingham, Jalen Clark, they were getting more opportunity. That was helping the second unit. Can he continue with that? Shu says they have one of the easiest remaining schedules left in the Western Conference at least. I don't know, though. Are they back to being a flirt in the Final Four? No one had them as a title contender, I don't think. But are they better than those other teams that we all had at the top of that third tier?
Game out of the 6th seed currently. Oh, wow. So they could get the guaranteed playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't put them in the flirt category, we won't have anybody from the Western Conference.
No flirters.
We will have 0. Now, I do think they have gotten better recently. They've turned it on. We're talking about 6th best defense and 13th best offense. It sounds okay. It sounds good. And they just had a 5-game winning streak. They beat Denver. They beat Dallas. I think they are turning it on. And I think I could see them in the Final Four, but I understand that It's more of a, again, one of those that could somehow go south and be a play-in team. I mean, that's possible. I think playoff lock is a decent spot for them.
Well, this is the
yeah.
difficulty of this like exercise. It's like,
In the
okay,
West, for
Thunder.
sure.
Thunder, we feel very confident they'll at least be in either the championship game or the conference finals. We feel pretty good about the Nuggets being very likely one of those other teams, right? So then it's like, of all these teams we're going over, the Grizzlies, the Rockets, the Warriors now with Jimmy Butler, obviously the Wolves,
Both LA teams.
Both LA teams. Like, holy crap. Like, try and pick. I don't know. Like,
Matchups, baby.
Try and pick who's it going to be that you have the most confidence to go that far. That's the difficulty here. The Wolves play the Rockets, the Thunder twice, and the Lakers coming out of this break here. So, big games against all these teams that are, like, either ahead of them or most of them, all three of them, I guess they are ahead of them. But I think it's playoff lock.
All right, lock them in, baby.
I do.
Ahead or behind the LA teams, the Lakers and the Clippers,
Wow.
the Rockets, the Grizzlies. Where do you want them at?
Yeah, and the Warriors are there.
The Warriors are there.
Oh, that is tough.
What a weird spot.
Yeah.
Between the Lakers and the Clippers. Or you want them here. Keep the LA teams together.
Jesus, sure.
Yeah, we're staying Midwestern, Minnesota, Indiana, and Milwaukee. Good stuff.
I'm fine putting them in the lock spot.
We're going to, at the end of this, we're going to elevate at least one team to the Final Four flirt.
We'll have to
Got
call
to
our
do
shot.
it. The New Orleans Pelicans, they've had everybody on their team get hurt. They're 13-42, worst in the Western Conference, 26th on offense, 28th in defense, 29th in net rating. Any reason to put them anywhere else than the Flag Seekers?
No. They traded Brandon Ingram, and two of their other starters are injured for the season.
Do you think
Herb
they're
Jones and
better than the
DeJounte Murray.
Hornets and the Wizards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think if we had a spoiler category, they'd be in there.
Alongside the Nets.
Yeah, alongside
okay.
the Nets.
Okay.
They can win some games.
Amongst the bad teams, they're one of the scariest.
They are.
100% agree with you there.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to
Zion's
get
putting up some
40
games.
from CJ McCollum. You're right. Zion's been playing well.
Trey Murphy hooping, of course.
Yeah, right. Those three guys can go off on any given night. So, but they're in the bottom.
But they're in the bottom.
Yeah.
They're in the bottom.
They could have a great second half of the season and still finish under 500. They don't even have enough games left, I don't think. 55 games they played? Nope.
No. Wow.
Weird season for the Pelicans. They are the Grizzlies of this year. It was the Grizzlies last year. Everyone gets lined up.
Yeah.
Happens to one team every single year. Hasn't happened to this team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are first in the Western Conference, 44-10. They're fifth in offense, first in defense, first in net rating. They are good. So are they the number one team in the league? Would be the only question. Overall, I mean, number one in the West by far.
So, they're 8 games up
8
on the
games
Grizzlies.
up.
Holy crap. They're having one of the most dominant regular seasons we've ever seen.
That's true.
Like, it's sort of getting overlooked a little bit. Their point differential, plus 12.9 points per game. That's better than any team has ever recorded. That will probably dip a little bit. I would assume, like, again, they're so far clear of these teams, they might take their foot off the gas, but then they're so deep that they give other guys an opportunity, and they can still win a lot of games, even if you get some rest for some of your main guys. What I love about them, they never hurt themselves in games. They just take care of the ball. They rarely turn it over. So they always get a shot. That's important.
Yep.
I think we're just monitoring how Hartenstein and Chet sort of look and play together. That'll be things that we're going to want to see here. They've barely done that because of injuries, but they are clearly the number one team in the Western Conference.
Oh, yeah. They're going to play hard the rest of the season. That's what they do. Shea blocked a shot in the All-Star game from a three-point shooter. What up with that? He will be trying. I am more interested to see when they get up double digits like they do. Excuse me. I always say it. They always get down double digits and then somehow turn it around and win a game. That could hurt them in the postseason. If that happens, that's what I'll watch the last 20 games. But either way, they're the top team in the Western Conference. Good luck in the NBA Finals. Hopefully, we'll see. Perhaps.
Yep, I think they've earned being the number one team on our rankings here with the net rating they've put up. They basically haven't had one of their two centers for, I mean, they played 5 games maybe total with both of them. So they do have a little something to play for, I think, in this last 30 games here, figuring out how Chet and Hartenstein work together. Like, Chet's never played 4. Like, even going back to high school. He was
Yeah.
a center always, and now he's having to figure out how to play
Yeah.
alongside a big. And the question will be if they can figure out how to win games when they don't shoot well, because
Yeah.
the defense will show up, and that's what they got 30 games to figure out. So, cool. Thunder, number one.
Yeah, I got a note from Kevin Pelton when it comes to the two big guys. They've started 3 games up front, Hartenstein and Chet, since Chet returned on February 7th. And the early returns are encouraging, a plus 30 margin in the 50 minutes of action, the two guys. So, strong start at least, a
Pretty
very
good.
small sample size, but watch that if you're watching Thunder here, like how those guys fit as we get into the postseason.
The Phoenix Suns are 11th in the Western Conference, 26 and 28, 11th in offense, 27th in defense, 20th in net rating. Can they make a play-in push?
Oh my
That's what
God.
people want to know about the Phoenix Suns.
Nah.
Highest payroll in the league, and we're talking about, man, you think they can make the play-in? Oh, God.
They're only a game and a half out right now. A game and a half out of the 10th seed.
Yeah, they're playing hopeful, which is pathetic.
Yes.
Yeah, so pathetic. They lost 6 of their last 7 before the All-Star break. One win against the Jazz in overtime, too. It wasn't even like a
Wow.
dominant victory. Yeah,
Not great.
no. And they have one of the hardest schedules.
The hardest schedule.
Is it the hardest?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah, it's the hardest.
Well, that's not good for them.
That's
no,
not good.
No, as you said, 27th ranked defense. What was it? Extremely low.
25th I saw, but yeah, it's probably depends where you look.
27 on BR.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you play good teams, there's just a bunch of games they're going to lose here. You got the Thunder, they got the Cavs, they got the Celtics twice, the Knicks, Grizzlies twice, Nuggets. That's tough.
So what? This will be Kevin Durant's last couple months with the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
He wants to make 10 more
I mean, they
All-Star
have
games.
to. Like, if they don't make the plan or like they get bounced in the play, I'm like, what? You got to shake it up, and it's either trade Booker or trade Durant.
Exactly.
'Cause Beal
How
doesn't wanna
bad
go
do you want to
anywhere.
be? And if you trade Booker, you're probably going to have to trade Durant anyways. He ain't going to want to stick around for a rebuild.
Yeah.
So, what?
Wow.
Another 30 games plus 1 to 2 in the play-in?
Right.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. They did remove, I saw, Footprint Center from their arena.
They're getting a new name.
Yeah. Do we know what it is?
I think right now it's just PHX, Phoenix Arena, because they don't have a sponsor yet.
Oh. But that could, well, I say this because that could be a good thing. Because were they not in, am I crazy? Were they in the finals when they added Footprint Center? It was a 2-2 finals matchup.
I think so.
And they changed it to Footprint Center. And then they lose. Mm-hmm. And then, it hasn't got all that great sense. I think that's cursed, that footprint.
You're probably
Get
right.
it out of here.
We'll see
They're
what
going
they
to
go
go
with
on a run as the Phoenix Arena.
They're like, sorry, we can't ever change it. We shall see. The Portland Trail Blazers are 13th in the West, 23 and 32, 24th on offense, 24th in defense, 25th in net rating, though they've been very enjoyable to watch in the month of February, and their defense is good.
They went 10-1
Yeah.
over a stretch, but then they lost 3 games right before the All-Star break. But still. They were suddenly a good. They already hit their over/under, I think.
Probably.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
because they must have
Yep.
been in the low 20s. So that's pretty impressive with still a lot of basketball to be played. But they are not a play-in hopeful, I don't think, because there's just too many good teams. So they have to.
Spoiler. They're
They,
in the spoiler
they have
category.
to. That's their
Yep.
spoiler.
They
there
are
you
a spoiler, and a good one at that.
Go. Yes. But
Yeah, you could call them the Nets
yeah.
of the
I think that's
of the Western
quite
Conference.
comparable.
They play defense. There's some vets that are around that you're like, you still got your vets around? For them, it's like you didn't trade Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams. For the Nets, it's like you didn't trade Cam Johnson. Odd, but
Yeah.
whatever. It makes your team decent. So yeah, I've been enjoying the Portland Blazers lately.
You brought up Jeremy Grant. That may be the first time we've talked about him all season long.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe trade rumors.
Yes.
Shu says, had a note in his power rankings, that Jeremy Grant's usage rate is 19.3%. It's down from 25.5% last season. So sub 20. Third biggest drop among 256 players who have played at least 500 minutes in each of the last 2 seasons. And it comes with a huge drop in efficiency as well, because he hasn't been good either.
No.
Even though the usage percentage has dropped. He's shooting, Jeremy Grant, 38% from the field this year.
That's pretty
That's
low.
he's not small.
No.
I mean, he's a
No.
bigger guy. It's his worst since the Sixers rookie season.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's basically given up playing defense. Like, Jeremy Grant is kind of just a scorer now.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Not a good one.
Literally, Damian Lillard got him paid, and that's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Good to be friends with Dame Lillard, I guess. Sure. The Sacramento Kings currently 9th in the West. They're 28 and 27. 8th in offense, 22nd in defense, 13th in net rating. How my Bulls doing here? I literally just watched a game where Zach LaVine had 32 points and 10 assists through 43 minutes, and then he didn't touch the ball at all.
God.
As DeRozan just bricked away shot after shot after shot, and I said, I love this. I would build this team too.
They're 3-3, I believe, in the Zach LaVine era. Yeah. So that was very Bulls-like.
That was crazy, man.
And they have a tough schedule, I think, remaining as well. So, I mean, are they just a play-in hopeful?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely not a lock. Their defense has slipped a lot. They are Bulls West, I guess, because they're a team that could outscore you on a given night.
Mm-hmm.
But if their defense ain't there, they ain't playing for Doug the way they were right at the beginning, then no, you cannot call them a lock. It's a sad season for the Sacramento Kings, but they can make the play-in.
Kings or Suns battling for a play-in spot, probably.
Kings have better vibes, I think.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit ahead. 1.5 games. It's not a lot.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. They're a play-in hopeful. Do you have them ahead of the Magic and the Heat or below the Magic and the Heat?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm below, I'd say.
Yeah,
hard,
sort of, just because
yeah.
of their conference.
Yeah, they're on the top.
And I'd
conference.
keep them just ahead of. They have to be with the Suns. They got to be like joined at the hip. Funny thing about them having a better record under Doug Christie than Mike Brown. They do, of course, but they've been worse statistically compared to obviously when they were with Mike Brown. They just have been so much better in the clutch games, like in close games under Doug Christie than they were under Mike Brown, which was always so confusing because we were like, they have two of the best clutch players in the league in Fox and DeRozan at the time.
Yeah.
And they were losing every clutch game. And so that's either just bounce back or come back to the mean a little bit, but they're 15-9 under Doug.
But that's the thing, DeRozan, you live and die with DeRozan, man. Like, he's going to be shooting his shots. He's getting the ball in clutch time. He's a great clutch player, but if you go 50%, you win one game and you lose the next game.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
The San Antonio Spurs are 12th in the Western Conference. We thought they were going to be making a playoff push, and it ain't going well. 23-29, 16, 18, 19 offense, defense, net ratings. For the Spurs, they obviously got De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline, and they currently sit... Oh, that's actually a chunky little bit here. 3.5 games out of 10th in the Western Conference.
It's slipped here, even with Fox. The record's not great. But the Fox acquisition it's for next year, if we're being honest.
Definitely.
But this is they're in the bottom. They're in the bottom. I don't see them as a play-in hopeful.
No, they're a flag seeker that won the flag 2 seasons ago when they got Wemby, and now they could literally do it again. It's possible. It is possible. It's too far a gap, I think, for them to overcome the 3.5 games, that they are behind the Golden State Warriors for 10th. I think it's a little too far back.
They were
weird to say, but it's a tough Western Conference.
They were like 18-16 at one point. They were 8th, I think, in the West. Is maybe the highest they ever got this season. But then the defense sort of fell off a cliff, and now they have 5 wins since because they're 23 and 29. They played 2 games in Austin this week. I forgot they did that little, I don't know, community outreach.
No, that's not where they played.
No, I forget the name
Alamo
of it.
Dome last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're playing in it's this week or this weekend or something like that. 2 games in Austin. So that'd be cool for the people in Austin.
Keep Austin weird, keep Wemby weird.
Keep Wemby weird.
Bringing in a book to the All-Star game. That was so fun. Like, you rarely see an NBA player getting bullied, but I felt like Jokic was bullying him. Like, look at this nerd.
Yeah, he really was. He just
He disgusted.
Yeah. If you ever needed a book, it was during that All-Star tournament. That's the perfect time to kill a bunch of minutes and hours.
You read it on the bench?
That would
be hilarious.
Yeah. And that guy was doing
the book at the end.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, that was going on in the, who was it? The NFL player.
Brown?
AJ
Yeah,
Brown, yeah. Right.
Inner Excellence or something like that he was reading. I bet Wemby's read that book. I wonder what he's reading.
Yeah.
That makes you think. The Utah Jazz, they're 14th in the West, 13-41, 18th in offense, 29th in defense, and 28th in net rating. They are flag seekers.
Yes.
But the Jazz have won some games recently.
They have.
They'll catch you by surprise.
Yeah. The Pelicans, Jazz, and Hornets are all at 13 wins.
Yep.
And we don't believe anyone is catching, I put that in air quotes, the Wizards for the worst record. And it does feel like then the Raptors are sort of too good.
17 wins.
Yeah, so that's the Jazz are with the Pels and the Hornets here. It's like they're obviously going in that bottom tier. It's like they have to be with those teams, and just where are we sliding? Do we have a little more faith in them?
You feeling dusty? Is that what you're saying? You're trying to pick a nut dust team between the 13-win Hornets, the 13-win Jazz, and the 13-win Pelicans?
I'm game if you guys are for a little nut dust bowl challenge. We pick the crappy teams, and whoever has
have the most
whoever
wins?
has the worst. I guess whoever has the worst. How did we do it? Whoever has the worst has to do the
Must be.
the
Fewest
shot of
wins
nut
drinks the dust.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you want?
Hornets, Jazz, and Pelicans.
Yeah, those are our 3 teams. Let's do it.
I'll take the leftovers. I don't care.
Okay. Cass, you pick
it's
first.
tough.
I don't really care either.
Yeah, the Jazz are going to lose a lot. Pelicans are going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
I'll take the Hornets.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
good. I don't want them. I don't want the Hornets. I want between the Jazz and the Hornets. Oh, sorry, the Pelicans and the Jazz. Give me the Pelicans.
All right.
Give me the Pelicans.
I'm a big Jazz guy.
All right.
Let's go.
Nut Dust Bowl is back. There was a lot of people asking. Come on, bring it back.
That's
Where is
right.
it? So,
Works perfect.
there we go.
And
Yeah.
if the Wizards end up with more wins than either of these 3 teams, we all drink the dust.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice
that's a
wrinkle.
spoiler, yeah.
Okay. So,
We got
yeah,
4
so
games.
people out there will be like going
Yeah.
crazy for Wizards wins if they could somehow jump
Let's go, Bryce.
all 3 of them.
Big Bryce Sensabaugh guy now.
Yeah.
Big
well,
Johnny Juzang fan.
Collier's playing really, really well.
Yeah, assists
Yeah.
galore. That's exciting. Man.
Okay, I got the Pels. You've got the Jazz.
I gotta
the
put them on here.
Hornets.
So okay,
Yeah, let's go take a look here at our mid-season tiers. Oh, wow. So for the podcast listener, 4 teams currently in our S tier, in our title contenders: Thunder, Celtics, Cavs, and Nuggets. We have 1 team right now in the final 4 flirts. That's the Knicks. And then we have a bunch of playoff lock: Grizzlies, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers, Wolves. We also have the Warriors there. I jumped a few teams from the East. We have the Pacers, Bucks, and Pistons. In the 4th play-in hopefuls, it's the Mavs, Heat, Magic, Kings, Suns, Hawks, Bulls, and Raptors. And then in the Flag Seekers, in order, Spurs, Sixers, Nets, Blazers, Pelicans, Hornets, Jazz, and Wizards. Do we want to change anything?
do we want anybody else up there in the flirts? That's what I'm looking at. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 teams in the playoff locks, 1 in the flirts. Who gets bumped up? We gotta add 1 more team. Can't be flirting with nobody.
It's so weird. Like, I have the most confidence, I guess. I'm only thinking about the Western Conference. I have the most confidence in the Warriors and the Lakers. To like, and
Respect to the old guys.
well, yeah, and obviously the huge additions that
Yes.
they added at the deadline. Like, they added 2 of the better players, in Jimmy for the Warriors and Luka for the Lakers.
Wow,
So-
people will be saying, "Oh, you guys are just in ESPN's pocket." The Knicks, the Lakers, and the Warriors in the final 4 flirts. Stay tuned to the second half of the NBA season.
but
Yeah.
but then again, we don't have to have somebody up there. You don't.
We don't.
We don't
Because we have
to.
2
We don't
teams
have
in the
to do
title
it.
contenders in
That's true,
the
that's
Thunder
true.
and Nuggets. We're basically saying we think those 2 teams are going to be in the conference finals.
We got a top 5 teams. If
Yeah.
you look at it that way. Thunder,
Way
Celtics,
to look
Cavs,
at it.
Nuggets, Knicks. I think that's fair.
You want to make a
Tough.
case for anyone else in the final 4 flirts?
I'm going with the Houston Rockets. I know it's a crazy one. It's a crazy one, but they play the Utah Jazz 3 more times. That's going to build their confidence. Put the Jazz in the confidence builders category.
The CBs?
I could make a case for so many of those. Whether it's the Grizz, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Wolves, sure, yeah, all of them. The Warriors, yeah.
But that's the thing. So we're either saying take all these teams you just
Yeah,
listed
put
and
'em up.
put them up a tier,
Yeah.
or we just leave them
Can't
there.
do it.
No, we have to
No.
leave them
Can't
there.
do it.
Okay,
It looks
let's-
weird, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. Exactly as I just said it for the podcast listeners. We're not changing a thing. We nailed it.
100% perfect, just like our preseason.
Okay, I
games.
do have one. Keep it up, JD. One question. If you had to pick one team from our tiers here that could make us look the most silly for the rest of the season and in the postseason, what would you pick?
Most silly,
Yeah.
I guess I would go for Dallas Mavericks.
Okay,
They
yeah.
would. They seem have the most chance of jumping multiple tiers. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they could
Tass?
definitely be a Final Four flirt. Yeah, I'm with that as well.
Because I think we had, do we have Suns as Final Four flirts in preseason, or did we have them as title contenders? Man, we were obsessed with that Olympic tournament.
Yeah, we had the Suns at the bottom of Final Four
Okay,
flirts.
yeah.
Yeah, but last year, even after the NBA trade deadline, when the Mavs went and got P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford, nobody really had faith in those acquisitions.
Also true.
And then they went to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
And the way they've been playing recently without every single big guy having to play Walker, Kessler, Edwards as their center, I mean, it's amazing what they're doing. They're playing Omax. They're playing everybody off their bench, and J-Kidd is getting them to play. Sometimes he does post-game press conferences. Sometimes he doesn't. You never know with that team. You never know with that. But they are playing extremely hard, so I wouldn't be surprised at all. But are they going to get their guys back? That's a fair question.
My answer for who will make us feel the dumbest for putting them where we did, it'll be either the Kings or Suns. You just watch. You just watch.
Going into the Flag Seekers? Or
No.
Oh, you think they're going to take off?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, one of them will, because now I've completely given up in them, and like they've just embarrassed me. I believe, I get on, I convince myself. Both of them, both teams are guilty. Kings and Suns. And I will say, now that the Footprint Center is gone, it'll probably be the Suns. You watch for that run coming.
And I don't want to be the ESPN to say it's got to be the Lakers or the Warriors up there, but the Lakers play Denver 3 more times. That's a lot. If they could just stomp the Nuggets 3 more times, then they would be the team that's in there.
Yourself.
Right? They'd be the team.
Okay.
Maybe, perhaps.
Okay. Let's hear what you guys think. Sounding off in the stream team. Let us know in the YouTube comments. Tweet at us at NoDunksInc. You fools.
You absolute
How did you put
clowns.
so-and-so here? You don't believe in this team. This team needs to be hired. That's fine. Have at it. Go nuts.
Yeah, most disrespected. Who's going to get maddest?
I guess maybe
Heat?
Heat?
I don't know.
Maybe like
Grizzlies?
I was gonna say Grizzlies. Yeah.
Grizzlies?
Because like they're obviously the second best team in the West. I guess Grizzlies or Rockets will be like, you don't believe in us.
That's true.
There's gonna be a lot of people actually upset now. And I can't wait. But let's call it there. That's a big juicy podcast for you. No problem though, because this one will last you till Friday. We'll be back with the Drop podcast here in the Classic Factory. Basketball does come back tonight, sort of, 1 game on, but no show tomorrow from the No Dunks universe. We'll come back, like I said, on Friday because a bunch of teams playing on Thursday night. That all said, No Buffs returns tomorrow.
Oh, baby.
Our Survivor podcast. We're doing a cast reaction. Once again, we had a lot of fun doing this last year. Myself, Trey, and JD. Unfortunately, no Nora tomorrow. She's up in Toronto, up in the snow. Toronto, seeing some fam, but she'll be back for episode 1 when the season starts next week. Whoa.
Next week, huh?
Survivor 48. But anyway, No Buffs has its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed. So if you're a Survivor fan or you want to become one, you should really watch or listen to our show. We have a blast. And I can't wait to do the cast reaction with these guys. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern is when we're going to go live. Cool. But until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, we'll be hearing from the Mavs fans soon. They're just a mad bunch.
There are none anymore.
Oh, come on. They're outside. They're at the funeral.
I say that lovingly. I would almost be upset to be a Mavs fan. You should be.
Yeah.
But okay.
That's why we're going to hear from them. They're just mad.
Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Brace the day, people.